Hey, it's Dr. Meredith Watson, psychoneuroimmunologist. I help people understand the root cause of their pain, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, grief, depression, addiction. I help with it all. So I wanted to come on and talk about the last couple of days, the gift within the story. And most of you guys know my story. If you don't, it's basically that after 2 heart attacks within 16 months, I got into holistic healing because there was no real medical reason for me to have ever had the heart attack. So it was active, young, healthy, no real reason. So I knew there had to be something deeper, something more to it. Watched a TED Talk, talked to my cardiologist, got into holistic healing, got into a program of psychoneuroimmunology, became a practitioner, and feel like this is the work that I was created to do. It took me quite a while to figure out how I wanted to serve the world and how I wanted to show up and participate and really carry out my mission. And I finally zeroed in on that I like DIY bundles and one-to-one support. But that's not my story. My story is I'm a recovering addict who was stifled by others for almost 4 decades. They created a box that forgot to leave the air holes. I then had to go through suffocation in symbolic and literal forms and really kind of come out of my shell, rise above the ashes that consume me. I'm a single mom who dares to blaze her own trail, and really healing others and helping people evolve with a second grader in tow is my jam. That's what I was created to do. Of course, my daughter will grow up and it'll be a third grader and a fourth grader in tow and all that gravy. But addiction really, it put a serious kill on me. It had every intention to just completely devour me. But I was stronger than that. I survived. My life turned around when my daughter came into the world. I knew that I had to make things different. I had to teach her things. I had to help her grow into a strong and vibrant young woman or a young man, depending on what she turned out to be. I do have an angel son, so you often hear me speak of my children because I always feel like I have two. And when she came into my life, it brought on a whole new level of meaning to my life. I knew that all the toxicity that I had grown up with, all the fitting into a box that I'd done had to stop because I had to teach her what was possible, and having someone else dictate your life and sitting in a box created by someone else and living with pain was not the normal. Like, that was not normal. Living in misery was not normal. So it was several steps: the birth of my children, the heart attacks, having my entire foundation underpinned and undone and cracked and demolished, and having to spring forth and kind of rock bottom became my new foundation. And so I'm proof that you can overcome adversity. Any adversity that life throws at you, any lemons that life throws at you, you can make a Boston sour with it. And I've made it my life's mission to help other people do the exact same thing that I've done. I also kind of wanted to talk tonight about forgiveness. And it's a topic that's very near and dear to my heart because it is the hardest thing for me to do. It always has been. I grew up being a very staunch believer that I'm not going to forgive because that okays what you've done, or it says that you can treat me any way you want to. In some way, it was like you could have done things differently. You chose to hurt me. You chose to do whatever it is that you've done, so I cannot forgive your decision to do the wrong thing. So what I did this exercise, and it was kind of a spin-off of something I'd seen someone else do, but I made it personal and I tweaked it, which is my MO. I take things and make it my own, teach other people to do the same. And through the exercise, it helped me tremendously, especially lately as I try to forgive and elevate and move and dismantle the hatred and the irritation and the pain and turn it into passion and purpose and really use it for my good and realize that things are not happening to me, they're happening for me. And believe you me, that is not the easiest place to come from, but it's a place that I think is important. And I always feel like I'm on mute. I always worry myself to death that I'm on mute. I don't think I'm on mute this time. But those are very important pieces for me to kind of digest and to really hone and to really take possession of. Those things are very, very important to me. So I want to encourage you to follow along as I do this exercise again with myself and, insert what's appropriate for you. There's 3 steps. I forgive myself for, and then fill in the blank. whatever it is. You can do this exercise as many times as many things and people you want to forgive. And the lack of forgiveness has kept me from, fill in the blank. I now offer myself love and forgiveness from a real deep place and now open myself up to, fill in the blank. So we're going to do this twice for me because there's two things that are big for me. I did it once and then I did it several days later when realizing there was other pieces that I needed. So the first one is I forgive myself for giving my mom all of my goddamn power. The lack of forgiveness has kept me from being open to others who may truly love me and treat me as I deserve and desire. I now offer myself love and forgiveness from a real deep place and now open myself to wealth, health, all I desire and love, self-love, and open to love, pure love from others who can love me in that way. And the second one is my ex-husband, my daughter's father, who she still sees him as a god, and I don't want to ruin that for her. But I forgive myself for allowing my loving, generous nature to get me into a bind of lockness and being a sufferer and an undercover doormat and a source to a leech. The lack of forgiveness has kept me from owning my true self, being open to pure love that has reciprocal benefits, and to feel I'm worthy of not having to settle for mediocre connection, that I can have and deserve a soulmate, a kindred spiritual relationship, union, bond that makes me sizzle, where conversations and sex are both orgasmic and is just as being in each other's energy. It is sizzling and awesome being in each other's energy and having those connections with each other. And the lack of forgiveness has kept me from having a relationship where I did not feel that I was just settling for stalemate when I should have been going for salacious. And anyone who's ever looked that word up, it just means kind of this intimate energy and sexuality. There's different meanings. I looked it up, but the one I'm talking about is just this incredible kismic chemistry that you have with someone. And I now offer myself love and forgiveness from a real deep place and now open myself to connection, sensuality, deep connection, love, reciprocal love, giving and taking, divine, powerful love that is blessed by Source and given to me from Source. And also, it's about surrendering and allowing. I'm a type A control freak who wants to have their hands on and in everything. I want everything to go just so. And in relationships with other people, there has to be a give and take. There has to be a reciprocal effect where you don't always feel like you're giving, but there are times when you're receiving. But the key to that is being open to receiving, being open to divine, being open to the love, being open to the give and take and that flow, where it's not just so much pulling and pushing. It's this evolutionary flair and sensual, and it's beautiful, and it doesn't have to be with a partner. It can be just in everything. I watched this movie the other day and it was so funny. I loved it. It was like it was my favorite. It was CSI. I love CSI. And she was talking about how food is to be enjoyed and all the taste buds that you have and how sensual it can be. And personally, that's amazing to me because I love food. Food is life. I don't know how people forget to eat. I think I've done that one in almost 4 decades. I love to eat. And from the pain and the desire to be more creative and to let myself surrender and allow, I created a bundle around it. And it's not all about promotion of a product. It's about teaching other people and giving people the tools to do the things that they want to do. There's a lot of type A control freaks. There are a lot of people who don't think they deserve the wonderful sensuality and good feeling that they have yet to have, and they don't have it because they don't think they deserve it. And that comes in play with a lot of areas in people's lives where they don't have what they want, need, or desire because they do not think that they are worthy of it. They don't think they deserve it. They don't think it should be theirs to have, when in truth and reality, everything that you want is yours to have. That you have a desire for it is evidence that it is yours to have, and it is to come into fruition, but there is actionable steps that you have to take. So Surrender and Allow is a bundle that I created, and it's a customizable bundle that allows you to build a life that you love and love the life you live with ease, grace, finesse, and tenacity. And you're going to learn about the deep details of building a business based on passion, zone of genius, of having automation and marketing properly aligned so you can magnetize your life, drawing in nothing but positive. the near forbidden science of defucking your mind so you can focus on positive and gratitude and achieve the age-old techniques of how to sell to anyone and how to become wealthy while achieving your dreams. You can learn the real truth about manifestation and overcoming resistance. And I realized for me, when I realized that I was resisting the things that I wanted, I was afraid to have it. I thought I wasn't worthy of it. I thought someone would be mad at me. And then what if people thought that I was, too much, or that I didn't deserve it, or I got it too fast, or she can't possibly be here in this place and I'm not there. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but sometimes we're afraid to upset someone. That's why we're not going after what we want. We're afraid of who it would offend or hurt or make feel small when it's not our place to have any control over that. We don't decide how someone else feels. Our actions are one thing, but the other person decides how they're going to react to our actions. So it's not your responsibility to make someone happy, sad, elated, feel bigger than they are. It doesn't help that other person's light shine bigger if you squelch your light. So other things we talk about is, creating the 6 and 7 figure years at optimal levels while channeling a deep connection to surrendering and allowing, dropping the struggle so you know that the universe has your back. And given that I'm, like I said, a type A control freak, believing that what happens is my responsibility, but also that I can relax and just leave it in Source's hands and be okay with surrendering and allowing is even difficult for someone like me who had a background in what's supposed to be prayer and meditation and deep spirituality or deep religion. I don't think I was spiritual until about 2 years ago. I think I was religious before that, even though I said I wasn't. It's probably the dogma. And it was also about the community, but that's another story. But the universe does have your back and you can take on life through complete approach to holistically enriching your mental health, your mindset health, and learning meaningful ways to incorporate that into your busy schedule. There's honest meditation. You don't have to meditate the way everybody else does. You don't have to sit on a pillow. That's not how everyone meditates. I meditate while just literally sitting quietly looking out my bay window. And you're likely not to see this combination of tools and tricks and techniques in any other portal or bundle that anyone else has. And like I said, the reason that I even created this bundle, it's kind of the birth child from when I surrendered and realized that I'd fallen prey to my ex-husband's phony shit again. Like, I'm a really loving person and I care about people to the bottom of my soul. And he has issues and I wanted to be there for him and I didn't want him to die alone and I didn't want him to feel like he was alone in the world. But truth be told, and it breaks my heart, he is not who I thought he was. Like, he's who I said he was, but I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt and generous assumptions, especially since we share a beautiful daughter. And push comes to shove, I do have him to thank for that because he helped me create her with the help of Source. But it's really hard when you share something so beautiful with someone who's so different from you. And everybody's like, well, you liked him one time. Well, I liked breast milk one time too. You grow out of things, you move on, you live your life and you evolve and you grow and you realize who you are and what no longer serves you and who no longer serves you. And I realized that continuing to allow him to feed off of me and be that leech and be that source to his leechness, if that's a word, it fed into my limiting belief that I wasn't enough, that I didn't deserve to have a loving reciprocal relationship, and that I owed him something. I don't owe anybody anything, and neither do you, unless you do, which you probably don't, but we'll talk about it if you want. And similar to my genetic family, it was always about what I've done for you. Look at what I've done for you. You wouldn't be this without me. And his family continues to feed into that and feed his brain. And I think he tells me what they say because he believes it too. Because I wouldn't tell people things I don't believe in. I wouldn't spread the propaganda and spread the toxicity and the fuckery without having some level of belief to it myself, or wanting to procreate, or wanting to continue the toxicity, wanting to, I can't think of the word, but it starts with a P, wanting to proceed and keep going, keep it going, kind of keep the shit, flying. And, he doesn't really care about anybody. I don't think he has the capacity. I think it's all about how I can get what I want through looking like I care. And this is just from 15 years of watching him. So it's not like it's a flippant assessment. It's been doing this for almost 2 decades of watching him. So I was angry, especially after I tried to be the good ex-wife, the good mother of his children. But in reality, it was still that little girl who wanted validation. You're doing a great job, and even though we're not together, you're doing a fabulous job. And he says that, but it's not genuine. You can tell when someone's, blowing smoke up your ass. And so, it was an effort for me to be good to him and actually answer my own insecurities. Like, I'm still a good person, even though we're not together, and I'm still, being a good person. When in reality, it's that undercover doormat, undercover wanting to, the appraise and the approval and the validation, when that isn't anything that anyone outside of myself should be giving me. And I am a good person, whether or not we're involved or talk or give or anything. I'm still a good person. And he's taking advantage of my generosity and allowing myself to be used. Like, you can only let yourself be used. You don't People just don't use you without you letting them. You have to decide you're going to sever the ties. You're no longer going to be their life source or whatever, or their codependent enabler. And then also kind of look at your part in that. We all have a part in our relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have to take responsibility for that. And it's easy to cast shame and cast blame, but you also have to look at your part in that. And I'm totally willing to do that. And I think it helps in the healing and the recovery is to look at your part, whether it's big, small, medium size, whatever it is. Excuse me. And the same thing happened to my ex-best friend. She came back on the scene because something tragic happened in her life and almost got me caught up, almost got me reeled in. And at that point, when I realized that they tag team, I don't think they do it knowingly, but they tag team. One is driving me crazy, the other one, but I let it happen. I keep walking back into their trap and walking back into their web willingly, all under the mask of I'm a good person and I want to be there for people and I don't want anyone to be alone and blah, 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 blah. And I can shield myself, which I can. And I think on some level I did this time because I could walk back out a little easier than I have in the previous years. But I also had to surrender and ask Source to protect me and to keep me and to deliver me from the web and not getting caught up and sucked in and reeled back in like a fish. And no more roller coaster. Like, surrender, allow, and let it be in his hands, and no longer allow the things that don't serve me to be in my life. Like, totally sever the ties, call on my archangels to help me sever the ties, heal the connection areas so that I can move on with my life. And what would it feel like? And I had to ask myself to not have the mind fuckery going on, to kind of like defuck my mind so I can focus on the positive and give a more genuine sense of gratitude and achieving the things that I want. Like, I'm so caught up in their shit, I can't achieve the things that matter to me, and that's not healthy. And I enjoy helping other people and I enjoy giving, but you cannot feed from an empty cup. So I have to also consider how I'm giving into those things that no longer serve me when I could be giving into things and people that would benefit from the energy that I can give. And that's interesting because it's about mindset, it's about what I'm doing and what the underlying reason is and the backstory. And, I believe that we have all that we need within us. We have the approval, the validation, the love, the security, everything that we need. We were blessed with it within ourselves. It's just a matter of calling it in and calling on it and leaning into what truly makes us happy and really being honest with ourselves. Like, when I first came into the fact that I like doing DIY bundles mixed with occasional one-on-one support, I was scared to death. People aren't going to buy that. Nobody wants bundles. Nobody wants nothing like what you have. Backstory, no one wants you. No one thinks you're worthy. No one thinks you're enough, blah, blah, blah. But the bundles are pretty self-explanatory. It's DIY. You can go in there, control find anything that you need. It'll support you and help you hone what you already have within you. And then if you need my support, all you have to do is reach out and ask. And boom, I'm there. We can talk about it, run through it. I can help you utilize it to the best and most optimal levels. And you can WebMD it, you can Google everything in the portal, but you won't have the support of someone who's been in the trenches. You will not garner I've been there, I understand, I know your unique situation is unique, it's unique to you, but I have something similar going on, or I've had something similar, and I want to be a support for you. That you won't get from WebMD, and that you will not get from Google. And that to me has always been the dividing line between getting support and trying to do all of it on my own. Like, this is DIY bundles with the one-on-one support that you can option to get that also. So why not choose you? Why not invest in you? Because it's now the time. Like, you can waste 10 more years, 5 more years, 10 more minutes, but why waste it when you can be looking at alleviating pain naturally, coming out of your addiction, overcoming depression, overcoming being a recovering, overcoming being a doormat. Because I'm a recovering people-pleasing doormat. It was not an overnight success, but small micro changes along the way, tweaks and changes here and there, and I'm still doing the work. Still burying my head in the sand sometimes just to get a clear head and understand what I'm going through so that I can come out of the sand and really be of help to other people. And my business has grown, my life has grown, my joy has grown, my bank account has grown. All the things that really matter have grown because I've done the work, and I did not just pretend and bury my head to the point where I didn't realize work needed to be done and help needed to be sought out. And all my bundles are 150 or under, way under. So that's literally like $5 a day. And how much fun would it be to learn and gain support from someone who is hilarious, who has a joke at every corner, who is really in your corner, and they're kind of like a manager of a boxer, like they're in your corner cheering you on. And it's important to have that support. I can't imagine not having the support that I've garnered from myself, from my angels, from my source, from my friends, from my mentors. And by the way, this bundle is on pre-sale for 111. So I'll put that information in the comments, or you can DM me or PM me if you want. And also, I had to own the fact that it's okay to be successful. It's okay for things to come together for me. I've paid my dues. I've done the work. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nowhere I need to hide and pretend like, oh, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. The struggle is real. It is, but only because I created it. Like, I don't have to continue to struggle and wade through the I guess it's marble, like the really thick syrup. I can skip over that and just decide. And people can say it's woo or not. I can literally tell you I was at a place where I didn't believe shit that I'm telling you now, and where it's all about how I'm living my life now. You can decide. I decided I wasn't going to be a trash bag and a garbage and a dump and a doormat for other people. I decided that I was going to choose myself. I decided I was going to take my health into my own hands. I decided I was going to be the kind of mother who was honest with her children about the true things that are important in life, about taking time for yourself, self-care, love, attention, having something to hold on to, looking within yourself for all the things and not looking outside for validation, because those are lessons that they don't teach you in school. How to love yourself beyond anything else and choose yourself. When I lost my grandmother, that was the first words out of my mouth. No one is going to choose me. No one's going to pick me out of a lineup. No one's going to find me in a crowded room and sniff me out and sit beside me. By the way, that is a true story. My grandmother in a crowded room did sniff me out and did sit beside me. It was an amazing experience. But when I lost her, I had to realize I had to choose myself. Only good thing about her leaving me was that I had to learn to stand emotionally on my own 2 feet, financially in other ways I always have. And it's okay not to want to share everything. It's okay not to put your laundry on the front lawn. Everyone doesn't have to know everything, but I think people think that they have to share, and I think people want to know, for camaraderie. I've been through this, you've been through this, we've been through this, let's, you know, go through this together. The me too, like, I've been there too, I've done this too, I know what you feel like, I have an idea of the situation you're in. And that's fine. But even if you've been there, you haven't been there like I have. I haven't been there like you have. Your situation is unique to you, and mine is unique to me. But sometimes the community of I've been somewhere near where I've been in the community, I've been in the zip code, I've been on the street, I've been outside of, outside looking in. I have an idea of what you're going through, and I want to be supportive. I want to help you in a way that only I can. The way I support may be different from how Susie Q supports. But Susie Q has a tribe of people who want to be supported in that way, just like I have a tribe of people who want us to be supported in the way that I support. So owning that it's okay to have your own story, your own journey, and it doesn't have to mimic or look like anybody else. And you don't have to tell everything. But if you do want to tell, let the reason that you tell be because you want to help, not because you want to just make sure that it comes from a genuine, authentic, loving place and not from a Look at me, look what I can do. If you've ever seen In Living Color or any of the shows like Saturday Night Live, that the little boy who's always like, look what I can do, look what I can do. It's kind of bullshit to me. I don't like it. Also, my ex-husband looks just like him and sounds like him too. But I have dreams, and I am at a place where I want my dreams to become a reality. I don't want to just drool on them at night. I want them to be my truth, my reality, what happens every day in my life. Excuse me. But I know that one of the reasons I've been successful and that other people have been successful is because of, excuse me, intrinsic motivation. Knowing that I have to take the right steps and institute or implement the correct techniques to actually get it done and to actually have the awareness and the results that I want. I have to take the necessary steps. I worked my ass off. I've been in college and grad school for years. I did the work. I did the clinical studies. I did the papers. I did the prayers. I did the manifestation. I continue to do those things. Trial and error at every corner. And I don't know anybody who skipped that. They might not tell you about it, but they didn't skip it because you have to have, we all have our zones of genius, but there's a trial and error. You got to find out what works. And the question is not whether or not I can get you where you want to go. The question is, do you want to get where you want to go? Do you have the desire to put behind you the grit and the tenacity that it takes? I can cut the red tape, but you have to want it from your very soul. You have to want it so bad that you can't do anything but eat, sleep, and drink it. And you want to give birth to this dream. You want to give birth to this desire. And you have to be in labor with it. You have to want it more than anything. It's if you've ever had kids or seen labor on TV or anybody, they're pushing. They are pushing. They are panting. They are going after it. Anybody who runs a marathon, anything that you train for these things. And the question is, are you ready? Like if you're not ready, then nothing I do or anybody does is going to get you there. It's no magical pill. If there was, I'd be taking them and like swallowing them like horse pills. But I also know that, as I say, things come with grace, finesse, ease, and tenacity. It's true. There's something about going after your dreams in a way that gives way to the ease, grace, finesse, and tenacity because it isn't so much work when you realize that the result is everything you've ever wanted, everything you've ever dreamed of, everything you've ever written down in your journal, everything you've ever prayed about. You get into this flow, you get into this zone where you're like, I'm going to get this thing no matter what, come hell or high water. And there's something about getting in front of the right people who know and want what you have to offer, but also the satisfaction of being able to offer someone something that they have been craving for and wanting through your tools and your package and your service and your gift. That's also, I dare say, orgasmic, because it is. It is the most amazing feeling in the world to put your gift into the hands of other people so that they can utilize it and help themselves grow and evolve. And it's a domino effect, but also to get paid for your passion. We're all getting paid, but are we getting paid for what's intrinsically our passion or just something that pays or somewhat halfway pays the bills? So I know that I found my niche. I found my joy. I found my passion, and I couldn't ask for anything more. And I just want to help other people rise above the ashes that tried to consume them. And I had to do a lot of work to get here. And I know that it's possible because if it's possible for me, it's damn sure possible for you. But it's got to be something you want from the core of your ever-loving being. And if that's the kind of support you want, that someone who will support you as you give air to, move through, gallop towards your dreams, I'm the person for you. I hope you have a great morning, night, afternoon, wherever you are. Reach out to me if you want the pre-sale package at the Surrender and Allow bundle at the pre-sale package or any of the other bundles that I've been blessed to create. I'm excited and I am very, very grateful to be able to show up in the world in this way because it's exactly the way I've ever always wanted to show up. And it has been a wild ride and I wouldn't take anything for my journey. So have a great morning, night, wherever you are, and I will see you the next time. Bye.